for the brave ones that come out in this weather. We're going to be doing Sata Nama, and each time you choose or you close a mudra by joining the thumb with the finger, your ego seals its effect in your consciousness. So you're going to take the first finger, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And you want to visualize or feel each individual sound come in the crown chakra at the top of the head, down through the middle of the head, and out to infinity through the third eye. This is very important and must be done with each sound. It is an essential part of the cleansing process. So Sa is the beginning, infinity, the totality of everything that ever was or will be. Ta is life, existence, and creativity. Na is change and the transformation of consciousness. Ma is rebirth, regeneration, and resurrection, which allows us to consciously experience the joy of the infinite. So, you'll also be hearing some harmonics, hopefully. You never know if it's going to happen. And when it does, these healing sounds take you into a healing process that is going to be healing parts of you that you can't even imagine need healing. But these sounds are done all over the world, and this is what you hear the Tibetan monks, they're doing a lower version of this, but it's the chord that comes from the note that you're hitting. And when you open that up, these ethereal whirling sounds come out, and those are so healing. So we'll hope that they appear tonight. Sata Nama Sata Nama Sata Nama
She does that chant in her sleep sometimes, and it freaks the dog out. There's an aphorism, a common aphorism, that states there are two inescapable things in the world: taxes and death. There is actually a third, and that is stress. If you are in the world and of the world, stress will be part of your lot in life. The Master of Life referred to stress in different ways, but in one way, he referred to it as tribulation. He said in the Gospel of John, "In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." On certain occasions, a practicing yogi will enter into that refined state of awareness called samadhi, and they will talk about that. In our own kind of Christian or unity vernacular, we have many different references to this state of mystical peace. And it's interesting to note that at some point in our spiritual practice, we arrive at a place where we are capable of just entering into that divine moment, or that moment of oneness with God or the universe, or however you want to express this infinite beingness. So it is possible to enter into that state and just free yourself from tribulation. Because in that state, you are in divine alignment with the omnipresent, omniscient consciousness of life. And so every necessary thing, every answer is there. There is insight, there is peace, there is freedom. But before we get there, that we can just pause and enter into that refined awareness or God consciousness, we have to practice mindfulness. And it's something like this spider that lives in the Amazon. There's a spider in the Amazon that actually lives near the river, sometimes in the river. And even when the river is tumultuous and rough and crazy, the spider can blow a bubble around himself or herself. And in that bubble, that spider can just ride out the tribulation of that river. And I suspect, travels downriver to wherever it's going. Here's a curious thing, though. Why would the spider, you're in the Amazon, you're a spider in the Amazon, and okay, maybe you got, 100 square miles around you. The Amazon isn't going to change very much, no matter how far downriver you go. So why even take the trip? It's just part of its nature, I guess. Or maybe it actually only exists so that ministers can have these illustrations. And that's what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is the ability to be in a state of awareness or consciousness that is not being tossed to and fro by every changing tide of circumstance, by every limited thought that someone brings forth in your experience, by anything, any confrontation whatsoever. It is possible to be so mindful as to be in this space of divine awareness, so that what you are doing in that space is healing the world. Most people still don't understand the idea of healing the world. It is necessary for us, if we're going to heal the world, we must become the new being that inhabits the world. And the new being that inhabits the world cannot be one that gives and receives conflict, that operates from a limited understanding which has to do at the foundation of separation. That you see that this thought system in the world is all about this definition of life being of separation. There's me, and there's all that is not me, is the thought system of the world. And from that perspective, we go forth and attempt to control as much as we can in life to try to get it to suit our personal expectations and our desires and the things we believe we will need to be whole and happy. So that's the initial thought system of the world. We're all born into that. We're raised in it, educated in it, and in later aspects of our education, we attempt to do it in different ways. But it's all about somehow or other controlling the conditions and circumstances that we're going to find ourselves in. And when we understand that all the conditions and circumstances in the world are forever passing, there's nothing permanent in the world, so to speak. And while we operate in this impermanent experience, it is necessary to understand that we are infinite beings and that we can make alignment with that infinity and live and bestow a healing awareness into the collective consciousness of humanity. No matter what people are doing to try to heal the world and save the world from all the different things that seem to be taking away the elements of the world we need to live on, but everything that people do, they would need to be doing it in a state of mystical peace. Because as long as you're carrying that conflict in your consciousness, you are disturbing the consciousness. You are creating the pollution that we see in the world today is simply the outpicturing of the pollution in the minds of human beings. There is a grand pollution in the mind of human beings. Just look at how we operate in such a limited way. I sometimes think that when the masters refer to this initial state of consciousness as a form of insanity, they're really understating it. Think about this. Of all the different things in commercials that you see with side effects, there's some commercials there that are chilling. And then there's a commercial where they tell you that this particular pill, if you have heartburn from eating certain foods, you take this pill before you eat that food. That's a confession of madness. You see, if your body is saying to you, this is not for you, don't take this stuff into your physical body. And so you're not awake enough to know, I can leave that food. I don't have to take it into my body. But you then defy the thinking and the thought system of your body itself. And so you court conflict. You court sickness. You court disease. And I thought it was a brilliant comment that was made at the first Democratic debate. I don't watch the debates all the way through. I catch pieces of it here and there when they bring them up. But Marianne Williamson, who is a devoted Course in Miracles guru, she was in that first debate when everybody was talking about offering, unlimited health care to everyone. And then she made this question. She said, I think a better thing to do is to find out why so many people in this country are sick. You see, what the whole thing that's going on here is we're ignoring the universal truth that would awaken us to our divinity. There's no reason to be sick. There's no reason to be stressed. There's no reason to be part of the insanity. There's no reason to operate from an eye for an eye awareness. There's no reason for all of that. And there's no reason to conduct our lives in relationship to authority figures, which is one of the worst things that has ever happened in the Western culture. These people rise to some positions of authority and then they are espousing their ideas. And then they make laws to make sure you're going to follow those ideas, or else there'll be a penalty for you. And I'm just saying this, I'm not going to get off on a tangent. I probably am already off on a tangent, but I can ride this tangent back the same way the spider rides the bubble in the Amazon. This whole thing about mandatory vaccines that they're trying to pass through, nothing could be more insane than that. It should be, because they want to exclude intuition. They want to exclude the fact that certain parents understand things about their children and themselves. They want to exclude divinity and the fact that you may not need vaccines ever. So just along that line, my children were never vaccinated, and today my son is the chief spokesperson for the anti-vax movement in the United States and in foreign countries. Because what is in vaccines today is poison. There's poisons in there. The fact that they're injecting those things into infants, from the size of an infant, they're putting these incredible toxins into the bloodstream, into that new forming embryonic brain. And we wonder today why people are so messed up. But that's because the world and the thought system of the world is flawed. And it's based upon an illusion of separation. And so there's no real insight, because the wisdom of the universe does not speak to one who is personally cut off by virtue of this illusionary idea of separation. Intuition doesn't belong to anyone who is operating in the world thought system. They will never have it, they will never grow with it, they will never heal because of it, because their illusion idea of life is confined to a body self and has no awareness of its interconnectedness with the creation itself. God did not create and then step back to see what's going to happen. God is the divine impulse of creation itself in everything that is created, moving forward. And it is incumbent upon those who are in this situation to finally wake up to the fact that the illusionary definition of life is flawed and only leads to conflict, suffering, pain, more authority figures, more pain, more suffering, more ignorance. So if you want out, you have to opt out yourself. You have to opt out through spiritual practice. You have to prove through spiritual practice that this divine awareness knows all, is all, and is there to guide any and all who align their awareness with it. And that brings forth the kingdom of heaven in the very midst of us. So I said, in order to get to that place where you can enter into this divine consciousness by just allowing yourself to be there. You can do this at any time. You're doing it tonight. You can do it right now. The divine consciousness doesn't go away. It's there. The only thing is that we are not there. You see, I think Eckhart Tolle puts it the best. He talks about incessant thinking. There's no end to this incessant thinking. If you just relax the thinking and allow yourself to become present and okay being present without all those voices from the past that said you should be getting ahead, you should know better, you should do more, you're not striving enough. See, if you just let those voices go and allow yourself to be here and be okay with doing nothing special. You're just here, allowing the peace of this moment to prevail in your consciousness. So, to do that in the world, though, because we are karma yogis, we don't renounce the world, we don't jump into a cave, an ashram or a monastery, and then renounce the world so that we can have peace. You will never find it in a monastery, by the way, or in an ashram, unless you find it within yourself. And then maybe you can be of some help to those people that are looking to find it in some institution. It is only when you can be standing in the middle of the horrors of New York City and decide to be in that state of awareness of that divine consciousness of mystical peace, that you will have arrived in your enlightened state of consciousness. People who seek to be healers too often are not healers because they are not themselves healed. They have no real understanding that this energy transfer that takes place in spiritual healing takes place in a state of surrender to the omnipresent intelligence that does heal. There's nothing special that you can do except listen to it. You don't take anything else away from this service tonight. Take this word with you. Allow. You allow. Mastery is the ability to allow. So I want to share with you, the words of another master, Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese sage. He has he's probably the one sage being that used the concept of mindfulness in the most focused way. And so it is incumbent upon us to be mindful that is not just adrift, not being tossed around by circumstances and conditions, fears and woes and past concerns and future worries. It's mindfulness that brings us into the moment of mastery. Just to be here in a fearless fashion, willing to be appropriate to whatever the moment is doing. Can you imagine living like that? What state would you be in if you're living in the moment and being appropriate with whatever the moment provides and wants and needs to establish more mystical peace in life? What would that mean? That would mean you had lost the illusionary self. It'd mean the thing that people fear most about the teachings of the Master. When he said, the greatest among you will be the servant of all. What did he mean by that? Except that when you enter into this divine state of consciousness, you're a servant to the moment. No matter what it is, what is required of it, you will know what is needed, necessary, and you will be it because you have joined the moment. Let me give you one more example before I get on to sharing Thich Nhat Hanh's how-to. You know that when you're doing something you really can get absorbed in, it may be even just in reading something you love reading. It may be in pottery, potting away, and you get absorbed in it, or it might be painting or art or playing guitar, or simply, sitting on a beach watching the sunset or sunrise, or being, in the beautiful atmosphere of nature somewhere else. And time seems to just evaporate. You get done with the pottering and you wonder, gee, hours have gone by. Or the painting that you're doing. Because what happened in that process? When you were painting or when you were journaling or something, writing, what happened was that the doer, the painter, and that which is being done merged. You were so absorbed by what was happening that you merged. It became a timeless oneness experience. And you were enlivened by it. But when it was over, you said, gee, where did the time go? And what happened was the doer and the doing merged. It might be while doing your favorite hobby or something else. But those are moments of oneness, complete oneness. Now, the only difference between a person who's capable of doing that and the masters of life merge with life no matter what is taking place. They don't have to be doing their favorite hobby. They can actually be in the midst of something really disconcerting to most people, problematic. But to them, it's not, because they have so completely surrendered to being one with life as it is moving. They are so mindful that they're forever in that state of bestowing peace and joy and love and timeless awareness. And that's what mastery actually is. And finally, I'll share this with you from Thich Nhat Hanh. He's speaking about himself. To deal with my disturbance within, or any disturbance, within or without, I bring my attention to my breathing and look deeply at the disturbing energy or thoughts. Then I can recall that I need another kind of energy to replace the disturbing energy. This second energy is called mindfulness, in which selfless peace is the choice and the result. It takes some practice to remember to pause, give attention to breathing, and choosing selfless peace. That's the process of mindfulness. Because there will be times, no matter how much quiet meditation you enter into, or spiritual practice, or whatever else you do, there will be times when there will be these challenges that come into your experience. And there, when that happens, this is how you deal with it. To any disturbance within or without, I bring my attention to my breathing and look deeply at the disturbing energy or thoughts. I look at, what am I thinking right now that is making me feel off-center? And then I can recall that I need another kind of energy to replace the disturbing energy. This second energy is called mindfulness, in which selfless peace is the choice. Note the word selfless peace. I'm not looking to have anything go my way here. I'm not looking to control anything. I'm just allowing what is necessary and appropriate to take place. It takes some practice to remember to pause when you're feeling any type of intrusion on your life. And you take that pause, give attention to your breathing, and you choose selfless peace. Tonight we're going to share again with our... Oh, you're going to do that to the chakras? Oh, this is a very, very beautiful healing experience. So we are going to go through each of the chakras. Those are the energy vortexes that give expression to the mind and body. And as we go through that, we will enter into a more expanded space of acceptance, allowing, and peace.
The first chakra is the root chakra. It's at the base of the spine. All my needs are already provided for. I am safe and I am loved. Let the sound go through that area. The second chakra is the lower abdomen. I accept my God-given ability to connect with others with warmth and sensitivity. The third chakra is the solar plexus. I am filled with vitality, trust, and inner security because I am one with God, one with all life. The fourth chakra, I am filled with love, kindness, compassion, hope, forgiveness, and peace of mind. This is the heart chakra. The fifth chakra is the throat area. I express kindness, truth, wisdom, loyalty, gentleness to everyone I meet. the sixth chakra, the third eye area. I am filled with an intuitive sense. I am confident in myself and connect to my beingness. The seventh chakra is the crown area. I am filled with wisdom and understanding.
Let us take a few moments to pray for those whose names have been submitted to our prayer list. As Norma calls the name, if you know the person whose name is called, just see them healed in the divine light. If you don't know the person whose name is called, just let your mind surround that name with light. Just a moment of light exploding in that name.
Casey, Greg, Casey, Tracy, Tobin, and David, Lloyd and Sharon Posnikoff, Jan Wolfart Lewis, Victoria Williams, Sandy Spahn, Bertina Hoagland, Ria, Christine and her son Jeremiah, Sharon Lippy, Celestine Musunda, Dennis Drake, Steve Sheets, Wendy Littlepage, Dal Bigtree and family, the United States government, Dan James, Gail Wagner, Steve Taylor, the earth, the air, water, and all of life on this planet. At this time, you can call out a name if you would like to. Katia. You see this healing light surrounding the prayer box, and all the people whose names have been submitted. We see them healed physically, mentally, and spiritually.
So let us conclude this meditation by visualizing the earth being restored to its pristine majesty, that this new consciousness of our interconnectedness and our okayness, our selfless joy in serving this moment of life and bestowing peace and love. As we hold the earth in this divine light and awareness, let us pray. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. Okay. I'm sorry you guys can't take the offering unless you have a hat like Farouk's. All right. Okay, Laura, jump in here. No, come on. And as we take our offerings in our hands, let's bless them with this offering truth. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive because I give. Together, please. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive because I give.
I am spirit. I am peace. I can feel the joy of release. Let my body go, let my thoughts gently flow. I am one with all. I am spirit. I am peace. I can feel the joy of release. Let my body go, let my thoughts gently flow. I am one with all. I am spirit. I am spirit.
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth, the Spirit available to each of us, the Spirit that joins all of us. We dedicate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth.